The Ray Rice story is obviously the big story in the sports world and in domestic news right now. So of course, Ray Rice from the Baltimore Ravens, he has now been released by the Ravens as of 2 days ago. He punched his fiancée in an elevator. So let's just watch the video quick. I know you guys have seen it, but we're going to throw to that and then we'll break it down. Okay, I mean, I've now seen that thing probably 20 times, and it's awful each time. I mean, just her lifeless body when he drags her out of the elevator. Her name is Janay Palmer. They actually got married. They are married right now, and she released a statement on Instagram explaining the situation, so let's take a look at that. She said, "No one knows the pain that the media and unwanted opinions from the public has caused my family. To make us relive a moment in our lives that we regret every day is a horrible thing. To take something away from the man I love that he has worked his ass off for all his life just to gain ratings is horrific. This is our life, what you don't all get. If your intentions were to hurt us, embarrass us, make us feel alone, take all happiness away, you've succeeded on so many levels." Okay, so we still got more that I want to get to, but let's just start with that part. So yes, the Ravens have suspended him. Now apparently the NFL did know of the tape for months. They apparently didn't see it until 2 days ago. That's what Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, is saying, and that's when they then decided to suspend him. So without getting into all the minutia of the NFL and all that stuff, we have two ladies on the panel. Let's just talk about that part of it. I sympathize with her, of course, that something awful happened to her, and it's up to them in their private lives if they want to get married and if they're in love and if he's truly, if she's truly forgiven him and all that. What do you make of her statement?
I mean, she said several things, apologizing even for her part in it. Like, she takes responsibility for it, and I feel terrible for her. And the fact that she married him a month after this happened is crazy to me. And I know that the NFL, you said they didn't see the tape until 2 days ago.
That's what they're claiming.
But do you really need to see someone getting knocked out to know that it's not an okay thing to do? I mean, because initially they only tried to suspend him for, what, 2 games?
Right.
Well, initially they saw the tape. This is what, initially they claimed they saw the tape of her from the outside of the elevator. So they saw essentially her lifeless body just being dumped there and was like, oh, maybe she was drunk, maybe she fell. We don't know the goings on. And so they swept it under the rug. They thought they could get away with it. And I think that's...
Wait, so just to clarify real quick, so they're saying that they didn't see the punch until 2 days ago. That's what they're saying.
Yeah,
okay.
They're saying that they didn't see the actual goings on in there until two days ago.
Yeah.
So that's why initially they suspended him for 2 games only. Now, the thing is here, like, there's a much bigger discussion that needs to be had, and it's unfortunate that she's coming back and feeling the need to apologize, first of all, but also feel the need to just personalize this. I mean, I understand this is very personal to her, and I understand that this issue is going on between the two of them, but the thing that she needs to understand here and that people need to understand is, being that this is on such a large scale of things, like, this is a discussion that needs to be had regarding domestic violence. And, you know, if you're going to, you know, commit this act, have it be in a public place and have it be videotaped, and you're in a public forum in general, expect your ass to be handed to you.
Right, so is that part of the craziness now of just the general 24-hour news cycle and all that, look, I'm not privy to their private relationship, so they may well be in love and trying to build a life together and all that. I could see you're not even on board that. Like, you think this is so...
I find it hard to call something love that's abusive like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand that victims tend to sympathize with their abuser a lot of the times, and I think that's what we're seeing, you know, happen right now. And like you said, it's part of a bigger discussion on domestic abuse that we need to have. And since it's not just their private life, he's a very public figure, it's a role model for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you let someone this, you know, well-known get away with it, you're sending a message to everyone out there that this is okay to happen.
But you're also, the thing is, you're also sending a message here that just don't get caught, almost, because the thing is, 21 out of 32 NFL teams have members on their team that have been convicted or committed domestic abuse or sexual abuse. There's 3 cases pending right now, you know, between the 49ers player, there's a couple other ones, and it's just like, okay, this person just happened to get caught doing it. So, I mean, I don't know. I think at the same token of the NFL taking such drastic action and suspending him, the Baltimore Ravens still stood up, and one of their first statements that they said was about Janay apologizing and for her role in it. So it's like, even though they suspended him, they're still taking her in as an accomplice to the situation, which I think is...
Well, it seems very clear to me that unless there's a video, that the league knows that there are tons of criminals, and it's not just the league, all sports. They know that there's all awful stuff going on. There's people doing drugs and beating women and all kinds of horrible. They could literally start another league just for the criminals.
Exactly.
That might be.
It was like a battle royale of football, you know. And I think the fact that we've suspended players, and I say we because I'm a chairman on the board of the NFL, for smoking weed for a year, and then you get a 2-game suspension for doing God knows what in an elevator until you see what really unfolded, I think is completely asinine.
Yeah, well, to that point, so Keith Olbermann, who has a show on ESPN now, he is pissed at basically everybody involved in the situation from top to bottom. So let's take a look.
Each body, each leading individual involved came to a judicial conclusion about what had happened to Janay Palmer and what should happen to Ray Rice, and each, through deception or incompetence, misled the public, damaged the efforts of every man and every woman in this country seeking to merely slow down the murderous epidemic of domestic violence, and made a mockery of the process by which those who batter those they claim to love are to be brought to justice. And not one of them, not Commissioner Goodell, not NFL Senior Vice President Adolfo Birch, not NFL Chief Counsel Jeff Pash, not Baltimore Team President Richard Cass, not Baltimore General Manager Ozzie Newsome, not Assistant Prosecutor Diane Ruberton of Atlantic County, New Jersey, not Prosecutor Jim McClain, not Superior Court Judge Michael Doino, not Ray Rice himself. No matter what actions were taken today against Rice, nor what might be taken in the future, none of them have any remaining credibility, and each must leave or be expelled from their current positions.
Okay, well,
He told them, that was like a roll call, like, you fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the guy is not mincing any words there. I think he makes some really good points. This sort of reminded me, actually, of the whole Penn State sex abuse thing, where it was systemic and everyone sort of knew, and who do you fire and how, you know, do you blame the coach and the president and the vice president and all that?
Us for watching that in slow motion. Like, the thing is, why exactly do we need an ESPN, like, football slow-mo replay of that? Like, sock out. I just don't understand. Like, I saw it. I don't need to see it like in slow motion like 100 times. Like, I get it.
Well,
it's
there
really
is something.
messed up.
It's sort of like the ISIS beheading things. It's like we watch them and like it's gross, but you sort of have to see it.
I think it's one of those things that a lot of people try to sweep under the rug and pretend doesn't happen. But whenever you see it right there in front of your face, it's too hard to ignore.
Yeah. Do you agree with him? I mean, I know obviously we're not NFL owners, and regardless of your feelings on sports in general, but is this a type of thing where the NFL just has to clean house now? Like, they really have to send a statement like, you guys knew what was going on, whether you saw the video 2 days ago or even if it comes out that they saw it a month ago. Just get rid of some of these people.
Absolutely. I think these people need to be, taught that this is not okay. You can't support it. And like I said before, they're public figures. So what they do reflects on society, and people look to them as an example. So if you don't take care of it when it happens, it's going to perpetuate itself.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a large discussion, because you can look into like, well, why aren't music executives fired for not, tarnishing Chris Brown's contract, or why aren't like politicians? I mean, there's so many different sectors of business and politics and sports that it would all just shut down. Everybody's fired. Everyone's fired. You're all fired.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I do think that's a really interesting point, because I was noticing how everybody, I get all my information from Twitter these days, everyone on Twitter was clamoring for him to be fired. Then he did get fired, okay, or let go, whatever you want to call it, and everybody was happy. But it was kind of making me think, look, if this was an accountant, now I get your point about the public figure part of this, but if you were an accountant and you beat your wife and there was video of it, you would still be allowed to be an accountant once the legal proceedings were resolved or whatever. So is there something like, should we be holding sports people to higher standards than regular citizens?
No, I mean, I think it's just the public eye. If you're in the public eye, you're and you know, fan dollars and people's money is going to your salaries, and you don't have the personal power to hire them. Like, I wouldn't hire an accountant that I knew was an abuser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to go to a game where I like all the other players, but this douchebag who's beating his wife.
He's representing the team as a whole. You know, it's a larger picture, and they might not want him to be representative of them.
Yeah. So are you guys down with the idea that he'll be banned for life? I mean, that's what some people are saying. Do you think it's like a privilege for him to be able to play in the NFL?
I mean, what's up with homeboy who like was in the dog fighting, and then now he's back with Michael Vick, and now he's back with a vengeance, and people totally forgot it all. So who knows? He could be back. You know, it could be a passing thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, this story is probably not going away, so we will see what happens.